Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tender, and today, well, in this video I'm going to talk about patch 1.5. That's pretty much this video in a nutshell. I'm going to talk about the balance changes, I'm going to talk about the new features, the new map, but first, and I think the most important thing, is the new hero added in Overwatch, and that is Sombra. Let's talk about her first, shall we? And she's an interesting character. She is a hacker, in fact. Her main weapon of choice is going to be some sort of machine pistol. And this machine pistol has the potential of doing a lot of damage. However, it also has a lot of spread. So you really need to be really close to your targets in order to do the maximum amount of damage. At long distance, you're compared a little bit to Reapers. Shotgun, if you will, where if you're really close it does a shit ton of damage, but if you're far away you might as well not shoot at all. It's kind of a little bit like that. It's very rapidly. I'd say about the same as Tracer's guns. But yeah, see, it's very much more effective at short range, and even going for headshots is not really effective at longer distances. So keep that in mind when you try to use this weapon. And her abilities, well, she's not an offensive character. I mean, she's listed as an offense character, but it's a little bit. She's very weird to play. And it's going to definitely take some practice to try to get used to her, because she's a little bit of a flanker, but at the same time she is also a little bit of a support even. That's partially because of her hack ability. She has a hack ability, and this ability will, if you use it on an enemy, it will temporarily disable their abilities. So they cannot use abilities for a couple of seconds, which is really interesting, and it's going to counter some of those annoying enemies like Zarya, for example. She cannot use her shields while she's being hacked, so you can try to take it down quickly with your team. But its ability can even be used on health packs. If you hack health packs, what this means is it's going to respawn 3 times as fast. And you might be thinking, well, if I use this while the enemy is using it, no. The enemy cannot use this health pack while it's under the hacked condition. So this ties in nicely with the fact that I said she's a little bit of a support character as well, because of course you can hack a health pack that's nearby, and your teammates can use this to your advantage, and it's going to respawn 3 times as fast. So I would definitely suggest, if you play her, also make sure that you always hacked a very nearby health pack to support your team and yourself. And you can also use this together with your translocator beacon, which is a little thing that you plop down. By default, this is the E key. Also keep in mind, if you use a hack ability, I have not mentioned this yet, but don't use this in 1v1 situation, because this is interrupted by damage. You cannot hack at somebody while you're being shot at. So try to use this while you're going 2 versus 1 or something, where the enemy doesn't know that you're there yet, or isn't aware of you yet. So try to use the hack ability not while you're trying to get shot at, because it's pretty much pointless. You might get lucky, but most of the time you won't be. But again, your translocator beacon was the thing I was going to talk about. Translocator is a little thing you plop down. It's very similar to Tracer's recall ability, but it doesn't heal. You plop down a little thing. You can actually suggest most of the time do this on health pack. Also beware. I've seen some situations where Junkrats will plop down a trap on top of your translocator. So keep that in mind. Make sure that wherever you drop this down, it's a safe spot and it's not going to be sabotaged, if you will, by a Junkrat that's trying to be funny. But the nice way of using this technique, using this translocator, is you see an enemy that is low on health. I'm gonna go over that in a moment. Well, how you will see that he is low on health. You see an enemy that is low on health. You use your shift ability, your cloak, and you chase them down, and you shoot them, and kill them, whatever. And then you go back to your original spot by using your translocator. That's a very good technique of finishing people off. Next ability is, as I mentioned, some sort of a cloak. And this cloak, if you will, this cloak ability is going to increase your movement speed, but you cannot attack while using it. You can also not use any abilities, and it's going to be interrupted by damage and such. And it can be countered by, for instance, Widowmaker's ultimate can actually be countered by that. And if you go too close to turrets, you will also get shot down by them. Let's keep that in mind. This is not a flawless ability, it's not fully reliable. It has some flaws, so don't rely on this too much, but it's a nice little cloak if you want to get away with things, and to increase your movement speed. This also helps with if you just respawn. Most of the time you use this to get quick to the battlefield. And the last ability is... last normal ability is her passive ability, and this is called Opportunist, and this ties in nicely with her role, because that's her role. She is an opportunist. She is just going to take down targets, she's going to like hack the health back, she is going to hack enemies. She's not a frontline fighter. Keep that for the tanks, keep that for like a Soldier 76, for example. You are not a offensive character, you're not a frontline fighter as a Sombra. You're going to be sneaky about it, you're going to take opportunities wherever you can. You're going to flank enemies, you know. And opportunists passive is basically that you can see targets that are low on health through walls. So this ties in nicely to what I said before, is tracking an enemy down, finishing them off, and then going back with your translocator. That's a very good tactic of getting a little bit of free ultimate charge, or just taking out some important targets. And the last ability is her ultimate ability, and this ability is incredibly interesting because it's a counter to pretty much everything. It's an ultimate counter, it's an ability counter, it is an EMP. This is a hack in an area, basically. This is her hack ability, but turned up to 11, basically. This will hack anybody in the radius around you, destroying barriers, shields even. So even Zenyatta, for example, will only have 50 health left, and it will prevent enemies from using their abilities. So this has a lot of opportunity to be very, very, I would even say, overpowered. If you communicate this well with your team, you know that both teams have ultimates. You have a Sombra. The Sombra runs in with her cloak, and she uses her ultimates. She hacks everybody, and then your team follows up with their ultimates. You can do an incredible push. I would even say this a little bit overpowered. This has a potential to be, if you communicate this well with your team, this has a potential to be one of the most powerful ults in the game, I think. It very well might be. So that's pretty much Sombra in a nutshell. She has a lot of potential. She's very difficult to play, difficult to learn, but I would say very rewarding if you actually manage to do so. But Sombra is not the only thing that they've added with this big update. I think in fact this is probably the biggest update so far, the largest update so far. Another new feature they've added in is the arcade, which you can access just by pressing the play button in the main menu, and you will see it looks a little bit different, and there's also a new section there, which is called the arcade, which is some sort of a full around mode, if you will. If you click on arcade, you will see a whole list of different things you can do, including 1v1, 3v3, and the brawls, and of course there's also no limit mode. That's pretty much quick play as up until this point. What's no limits means basically that you can have like 6 of the same hero if you want, because now with this, including with this update, you can't do that anymore in the regular quick play. So you need to go to this mode if you want more than one person picking the same character. But they've added in 1v1 and 3v3 modes, which is on the new map, Ecopoint Antartica, which is some sort of snowy map. Which there's one big downside of this mode is there are sometimes people that don't really engage in battle. They just keep on running away, and it's really annoying. So I would love them to see a control point in the middle, for example, that you can capture after a couple of minutes, and if you capture it, you win. Some sort of incentive to start the battle, if you will, because now people are just wondering what covers the map. That's the only drawback of this map and this game mode. Other than that, it's nice quick little way of having like short battles against each other, practicing in your skills. So I like it. It's short little battle, if you will. And then apart from those 1v1 and 3v3, you also have weekly brawls. You can now access all of the brawls in one section, which gives you one random brawl, if you will, with different rules. So all the brawls that you have had up until now, you are able to access. I don't think that includes the event brawls though, so I'm not sure about that. I haven't gotten Lucio brawl yet, so I don't think those are included in this, sadly, which I would love to see. This is like the big new thing with this patch, the arcade, if you will, where you can access, you have more choice, more control over your game modes that you can play as. So that's really interesting. So the new arcade and new map are probably the biggest things that they've added in. There are also some hero balance changes, like Fire saw some changes with the splash damage, and he's also able to fly much higher. I think Torbjorn also saw some changes where he like gets scrap over time. So it's a bit less about picking stuff up and more. He's more reliable in giving other people ammo packs, which I thought was incredibly useful, because I've found myself in the past not always being able to hand out ammo packs to everybody because I couldn't find scrap. And there are a lot of other changes. I suggest you read the patch notes, because I'm not going to go all over them. I think this video is already like 10 minutes long, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, everybody, and take care, folks.